you're not melting and you're part of the woods. It is hot here. Not as hot as it is in some places in the country, but I wasn't ready for the low 90s yet. So, of course, when I used to live in Arizona, it would have been 110 at least by now. So I'm always grateful for that I don't deal with that anymore. I know some of you viewers do live in Arizona. So sorry, unless you live in Flagstaff, in which case you're comfortable right now. So hi, Imqua, welcome. Hello. So welcome in. It's Saturday live stream. And again, we're doing this weekly now. So it's my Saturday jam now. It's great. I have to say, I am going to there's just some things I'm going to add into the live stream. One of them is in a few minutes, I'm going to give my comment of the week. Like as I go through the comments, sometimes there's a comment that just sticks out for me. Hello, Anita. And then they're not, you don't have to suck up to me to get a comment of the week. It's not about that. It's something that I find particularly like profound or interesting that someone said. So I will share that in a minute. Let me say hi to everybody. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Dander. Hi, Barb. Near Ottawa. Okay, welcome in. Istanbul, I recognize your handle from last week. Hi, everyone. Westbound Music from Germany. Welcome in. Hiker, Diane, the other Diane, Danette, and Shay. Welcome in, all you guys. Again, we're going to have like an international group. But I have to say something first, which just kind of cracked me up. So again, there's always something, I do go through. I'm starting to develop a routine for going through comments. I know someday it may be too much and I may not be able to keep up with the comments as most creators on YouTube cannot. But from Flagstaff, yes. Day Hiker. That used to be my home. Marie, welcome in. Anyway, a concerned viewer, shall we say, pointed out that I looked very pale. And I looked pale and I should do something to pep my face up, as in apparently makeup, a lot of makeup. And first I want to say, see, first it was the hair, now it's the makeup. Okay. First of all, I'm 69, right? I don't really care about wearing all the makeup anymore. But I will say this, that I'm using my camera on my laptop and it's not a great camera. So between that and the lighting, which is coming in from the window over this way, yeah, I do look pale. I mean, more than normal. But it's just the lighting of it all. So I feel perfectly comfortable with myself. And if you're comfortable having a live stream with someone who looks like a ghost, we're all good. Hi, Pat from Ireland. Great. Welcome in. And Stockholm, Marie from Stockholm, Sweden. No, Anita, I don't think they're trying to sell me something. I think it was a backhanded way of trying to be helpful. Let's put it that way. I didn't really take it as the person was being mean. I think a lot of people just think that way. I think they think, oh, you could look so much better if you just did this. And it's like, okay, but I don't really feel the need to do that. If you're so offended looking at me, you don't have to watch. So, anyway, Deneen from Montana, welcome in. And thank you, Istanbul. Thank you for saying that. And Diane, yes. Yeah, Diane, thank you. What I was going to say about the comments, though, I really have gotten into a routine now where normally I go in and I address comments like twice a day. And and I don't respond like with actual words to every comment, but I do read every comment. And there's still sometimes comments I have to like delete, but not too many of them, as many as there was for a while. And yeah, I didn't think about that, Imqua. I could be using a fake filter, couldn't I? No, I don't. I'm not into that. But it's funny. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I could come on here looking like a, a bunny or a cat or something. So anyway, no, I'm doing my best I do read all the comments. And at this point in time, because I feel like, you know what? That's part of my job. This is a job. This is my business. So I feel like I at least owe it to you to look through and read the comments. And I do at least, when I send, if you see that I've given you a little heart and a thumbs up, I've read it. I don't always respond in words to every single one, but I did want to go ahead and share my comment of the day, because every week now I will pick out a comment to read. And this came from, and I don't know if they're joining in or not. Probably they may not even be in the chat, but it's Crewmax is the handle. And their comment was and I think it was about the video about my family in general, like I didn't really have family anymore. They said, in the end, we're all alone on our journey. Our loved ones are stars passing by. And I thought that was beautiful. I really did. I thought it was profound, and I thought it was to the point, and I thought it was beautiful. And, in a way, that's true. Even though they're family and we may live with them for a long period of time or have them in our lives for a long period of time, and but we're passing, we're connecting at times, but we're passing by. So that's comment of the day. I also wanted to share some requests that viewers had, because I do encourage you, whether don't do it in the chat because I won't go through this afterwards. If you do have something that you'd like me to cover in a video, do it in the comments below for the actual live stream or another video or whatever. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. Thanks, Shay and Anita and Janice. But anyway, some people wanted me to talk about in future, like making meal. I am trying to eat better. I'm on the verge of giving up sugar again. This is like the 5th time this year. Okay. So it's a wonderful journey of giving up sugar, but about making meals for one. And I will say this, I'm not an expert on this. I am a person that, oh, thank you. Also, you look like my mom. She was natural. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not I know how to cook. I can cook. I'm not a person who enjoys cooking. I always wish I could. I always wish I did enjoy cooking, but I never developed a love for cooking. My mother was the same way. She was someone who was a good cook, but she didn't like cooking. And she made sure she told you that all the time, that she didn't like it. So guess what I got, like when I was learning cooking? That's the message I got, was it's a necessary evil. So I'm not a good person to talk about meals for one, although I have been living alone for a long time. And so for me, it is not hard to make a meal for one. Like, it's just not, it's like I'm just used to thinking about that. So, if I get chicken, I get a couple of chicken breasts, and then I save one for the next day and have, leftovers. So that kind of thing. So, yeah. And I always wish, thanks Westbound for sharing that. I always wish I had loved cooking more. One thing I make really well is lasagna, which I didn't get to have this past Christmas because I had a tummy issue and for about a month. Anyway, I didn't make it, but I learned my lasagna from my Italian grandmother. And every time I've ever given anybody my lasagna, they just go, this is the best lasagna I've ever had in my life. So I know I do one thing exceptionally well, but that's because my grandmother was a really good cook and she taught me that. So, I did learn that. Anyway, another suggestion I had was, and I probably will do a video on this, is making friends as we get older. Oh, hi, Rolla. I wanted to say hi to you. Yeah. Making friends as we get older. I think that's a special video. I think I will be doing that. So I'm not going to really talk about it here, but I think it is an important thing to cover. Um, have some Guinness. Thanks, Pat. I don't really drink either, though. So it's like, okay. Then the other one that somebody wanted me to talk about was depression or isolation, feeling isolated when you get older. So I will think about how to kind of cover that, but I think that's also an important topic. And of course, depression is. I'm not a person that typically gets depressed. If I do, it's for a day at a time kind of thing. Like once in a while, I have a day where I feel depressed that day, but I'm not really. Oh, wait. I want to read this comment. Deneen says, I'm a strict carnivore. Yeah. Now, see, I have thought about that. I've been told that I probably should be, based on like blood type and stuff, I should be like a carnivore, but I don't love meat enough to do that. I just don't. I do eat meat. I have been vegetarian at times in my life, though. I have. I think that I went about 3 years without really eating meat. And then a couple of other times I went about a year at a time without eating meat. But you know what? I always get pulled back into meat because I miss it. But I'm not one of those people that has to eat meat all the time, and I don't really like it all the time. I do eat eggs though every day. I do eat eggs every day. I'm an egg fanatic, and I cook them many different ways, and so I never get tired of eggs. But yeah. Oh wait, somebody's making chicken cacciatore. Oh, yeah, I love chicken cacciatore. I have never made that myself because I don't really know how to make that. But anyway, um, so yeah, anyway, but you know what? I think I'm just going to say this about the way people eat and whatever. You do what works for you, whether it's to lose weight or just to be healthy or whatever. My feeling is everyone has to find what works for them. Now, for me, I know it's the healthiest when I'm off sugar. Sugar is a poison to me. Absolutely. I know it is. Absolutely poison. I'm planning on being off sugar here as of tomorrow because today I already ruined it. I had some sugar. Okay. And so I bet you'll notice in the live stream next Saturday that my face isn't even like as puffy. Like I definitely have signs of what sugar does to me. Absolutely. But as far as other kinds of foods, to me, I'm not a big eater and I'm not really a foodie. Sugar's the only thing I like love. Other than that, I'm just not a big foodie. So I don't eat a lot. I don't eat a lot of quantity. And I just like to eat healthy as much as I can. But I'm not obsessive about it. So anyway, but I think everybody's got to do what works for them. That's my point. But yeah, sugar. Yeah. The one thing, I don't think sugar is good for anybody. Honestly, I really don't. It really is a poison. I view that as a poison. Now, if you eat it in like in fruit, something like that, that's different. But sugar, like refined sugar is what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's more addictive. Cheryl B, I call it my hair crack. I call sugar my crack. Yeah, that is it. Yeah, when I'm indulging in sugar, I go, well, I'm having some more crack. So, okay, moving on. So, what I wanted to talk about today in the live stream, and of course, anytime you have a question or something, you can share it too. Wait a minute. It says new me, but I'm Love Brit. Oh, Love Brit, I recognize you from your comments. How come you have two handles? Oh, hello, Debbie from Moosehead Lake, Maine. Let me kind of try to catch up here on the chat. Martin, hello. Yeah, Miss Patty's sugar is no good for us. I know. It's so freaking delicious, though, isn't it? I swear if I live to be 85, if I make it to 85, I'm just going to eat sugar. If I don't make it to 86, it's okay. So I'm just saying, it's going to be it's mostly going to be in the form of chocolate, which is my favorite form of sugar. But yeah, if I make it to 85, I'm on the all chocolate food program. That's how I view it. Uh-oh, I've been frozen. Uh-oh, sorry about that. Is everybody else seeing me okay? I'm not frozen on my end. I think my Wi-Fi is working okay today. Oh, from Milwaukee. Welcome, Sherry. I'm not sure how to say that for your name. Yeah, Cynthia, you've been eating 70% dark chocolate. I know, but you know what? I'm not a huge dark chocolate fan. I can eat it because I know it's healthy. Of course, I've eaten enough chocolate in my lifetime that, when I had not to give too much information on this, but when I had my colonoscopy a few years ago, I had such a clean bill of health on my colon, and which surprised me, actually. I don't know why, because I do have, some issues with my tummy and stuff. But I thought it's the chocolate because they say it's really good for your colon to eat chocolate. So I figured I've done a lifetime's worth already. Yeah. Oh, Trini lady from the Caribbean. Seeing you okay. Great. Janice from Phoenix, you must be hot there. No, the what I mean by that is, of course, your colon is clean when you get a colonoscopy, of course. But no, I mean, they say that chocolate has something. It's probably the antioxidants, particular kind in it, or something. But it's really good for preventing colon cancer. I have read that at times. So anyway, but it's mainly dark chocolate. It's not really milk chocolate. So it's the polyphenols. There you go. Thanks, Cheryl. It's the polyphenols in the chocolate. That's what it is. Well, anyway, so I want to talk about something today that's inspirational on here. And again, you can still ask things. Um, but I was thinking, I always think about something like the night before I'm going to do a live stream. And I thought about the fact that, you know, a lot of you have had heartache in your life. I've had heartache in my life. A lot of us have had things that are uh, devastating emotionally. So, what is it that keeps us going? And I know what keeps me going. And so I was going to share that because I know I've hinted at it in videos, but I have a real passion for life. I believe in life. I enjoy living. The world is a beautiful place. Like for me, it's about passion for life. That is, I think, the thing that allows me to not let anything keep me down. Because when I get up every day, I've got another day. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the only thing we're guaranteed anyway, is right now. So, but welcome in all of you guys, Margie, Sandy, Martin in Dallas, scorching hot. Yes. Um, and really do have a passion for life. And so it kind of surprises me because I do talk about serious issues and even depressing issues. But I'm hoping that I do it in a way that conveys that that's just being real about what happens to people. Everybody, when I used to do bereavement counseling, and I shared this, I know, in at least one of my videos, that the saying we always had in our heads as we were doing it was everyone has a story that will break your heart. Everyone has a story that will break your heart. And I have met very few people that did not have that. So I would say that's true. But the thing is, it's how you deal with it. It's how you choose to deal with it. And if you still have this passion for life, then nothing is going to keep you down. Sure, a part of your heart may be broken, a part of your heart may be wounded forever to some degree, but that doesn't have to ruin your whole outlook on life. And I've known people that have allowed themselves to have their outlook ruined on life because of one thing, one tragedy they went through, and that did it. Now, I'm not judging that. I can understand why that would happen to people. But I just think, to me, that's maybe it's about having resilience. Maybe that's what it really is about being resilient, that you can deal with all of that. that goes on in your life. My grandmother, I'll use an example of my grandmother here. My little Italian grandmother, who I loved dearly. My father was her only child. And when he was killed, it destroyed her. Now, she lived for another 20 years because she was a strong person in some ways, but she was never really the same. The life went out of her, the spark went out of her. And I saw that from the time I was 10 years old till she died when I was 30. And she had been such a vibrant person before that. And I know it was a tragedy. I know it was horrible. We all, we all go through that. I lost my father at 10. But I think that she just didn't have the resilience to deal with that, really. She had strength because that's what kept her going for 20 years. But she didn't have the resilience to get back that spark. Sometimes I would see it in her when I was with her because she looked at me and saw my father, I think. I was the living representation of him to her. So she had it with me to some degree, but I just, it hurt my heart that she lost that part of her. And so you can't make somebody not have that happen or whatever. It just depends on the person. But if I could get anything across to you, and I hope that I do on this channel, is that I think we can build that resilience too. I don't think it's just based on who we are. I think we can build it. And you do that by still being invested in life. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about what are the things I love to do. Amy, yes, that's true. Not everyone chooses to live with purpose. I do think purpose is a key. I think as long as you have a sense of purpose, you do have, and that's why I've resolved to have that the rest of my life. Whether I live a year or 20 more years, I've resolved to have a sense of purpose, because if you don't have that, then there isn't as much of a reason. But another thing that's important is enjoying the simple things in life, getting joy out of the very basic things. So I was thinking about this. See, I get tremendous joy out of very simple things, like sitting outside in the fresh air, unless it's 110. But I love just sitting outside. I love walking. I love watching the birds or the animals when I'm sitting outside. I can just, it's almost like a meditation to me. I meditate anyway, but it is a meditation to me. Oh, let me read this. Westbound, you said, I want to agree, but in the recent, well, you can only do what you can do in the moment. But I think the first thing is recognizing that you've lost the spark, and then dig deep inside you to see if you can get some of that back. And we're never going to be the same, because we change throughout our lives anyway. You're not going to be like you were at 15 or 20. It's not going to happen. I'm not the same as I was at 15. Frankly, wouldn't want to really be exactly the same as I was at 15, except maybe physically. But the simple things in life, the simple things, and get tremendous. I love sitting and watching like a fire in the fireplace, just simple things. And you get enjoyment, reading a good book, watching a good movie. If you bring it down to the most basic level and you get enjoyment out of just that does a lot, because I've known people that cannot enjoy simple things. I have met people that cannot enjoy simple things. And you know what? That raises the bar for them. That's really hard for them to get basic comfort or joy or pleasure or whatever, because they have to be like so stimulated to get enjoyment, if that makes sense. And so thank you, Cynthia. Going to the library gives you great joy. Animals, Animals, tremendous. Martin, about your dogs. Yes, exactly. Yes. Anyway, yes, plants. Plants. If you don't have an actual, like I have one plant, I shared that last week, and it's just thriving. It just, I think it just, well, I have it in a good spot. It gets like lots of indirect light. I make sure I don't overwater. And so I maybe I've gotten my green thumb credential now or something because I've made a plant thrive. I think that music. Thank you, Sylvia. I was going to mention that next. Thank you. Yes, or yes, watching a sunset. Also music. Of course, for me, I sit and play guitar almost every day, basically. When I'm playing music, I can't be unhappy. I just can't. It's just I'm hearing music and it puts me in a meditation. So that's a simple pleasure again. Yes, Kay Green, thank you for sharing that. Seeing the birds, a hummingbird, and it just the world's a magical place. Yes. Watching a sunrise or a sunset. Hey, you guys are coming up with tons of stuff over here. I love it. Yeah, Nancy, it's true. It can make you cry, music, but to me, that's in a good way. It's like it brings up, I have this plaque on my wall that says music is what feelings sound like. Music is what feelings sound like. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Anyway, Chardonnay, no. Well, for some people, I'm not judging what anybody else has to do. I just personally don't really drink, but music moves our soul, absolutely. And painting. Somebody share Barb started painting again after 33 years. That's something I cannot. I can kind of draw a little bit. I'm not a painter. I tried that when I was like a teenager, and I just it's not really my thing. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you today because I think that having passion for life, having enjoyment of small things, simple things in life, that is the key, especially as we get older. Especially as we get older. Because, I hate to say, yeah, good for you. I hate to break this to you, but as we get older, we're going to be able to do less and less. I know it's a shock, isn't it? I, I'm a person that loves. I did a video like a year and a half ago called Never Bored. I don't know if any of you have seen it. I encourage you to go back and watch it. I might do a reboot of it because not being bored is my superpower. I say that with some humor, but it kind of is. I've had that all my life. I don't get bored. I never did get bored. I'm a person that just doesn't get bored because I enjoy simple things. I enjoy basic joys. And that's been with me since I was a child. It just is part of me. So I did this video on it because it occurred to me. My best friend is the same way. She's the exact same way. She could do nothing all day and get tremendous enjoyment out of it because she just enjoys the little things. And so, yeah, to me, that talk about a superpower that aids me well in old age. I mean, at some point, I can be stuck in a chair and can't do anything at all, but I'm still going to be okay because I love just anyway. Oh, anyway. I know I was watching a YouTube. I watch a ton of YouTube channels myself. I've been doing that since 2010, and I don't always, I've changed over time who I watch and whatever. But I was watching this one creator who's a young person. She's around 30, maybe under 30. And I love her videos, though. She does a really nice job. She's got a lot of depth as a person, especially for a young person. She's a wonderful person. But she did share on a recent video that she was bored this one day. She was bored. And I thought, wow, I don't know what that is. Okay, and that's true, Jesse. Yeah, that is true. If you have things like ADHD, you're going to need stimulation. That's true. I know, realize all people, it's not something I don't think that you can necessarily cultivate. I think it has to be in you. But if you are a person that doesn't get bored, trust me, it does serve you well in life. It really does. Yes, and my Westbound. Thank you for sharing that as well. My father was my father was a person that liked to live on the edge, and I mean, like, he needed physical stimulation. Of course, he also died at 36, 37. So that was not a great object lesson for me. But my dad always needed to challenge himself physically, and he was a pilot from the age of 16. He loved being stimulated by, experiences. And like I said, maybe because he died young, maybe that's what made me really, maybe I was that way already, but I think that did affect me in some way. Um, but I don't have that. I'm very much like my father in other ways, but not in that way. In that way, I'm much more like my mother. My mother was somebody who didn't get bored either. And I think I either learned it or inherited. I don't even know if that can be genetic, honestly. So anyway, um, oh, I'm trying to read through here. Sound machines playing in your house, Sandy. A soft chiming sound. Well, I have actually, I don't know if anybody else, I don't know how all your ages and stuff, so I don't know if anybody else deals with this. But just in the last 2 years, I realized I have tinnitus, and it's not super bad. Like when I'm doing something or I'm listening to something, or I don't notice it. But if things are really quiet, I notice it. And I have gotten really into there's on YouTube, there's these channels that have like masking sounds for tinnitus. And those are really amazing. They really work. So I do that with those sounds times if I'm just home and I'm not really watching something or talking to someone on the phone or anything like that, then I will put those sounds on because that helps mask the tinnitus is really weird. When I first started having it, I thought it was coming from the apartment. Like I didn't think it was me. And and then I realized it was me. So anyway, anybody else out there have tinnitus in some way? I'm not playing music. I do listen to it. So anyway. Oh, greetings from Prague. Hop on. Thank you. Welcome in. I don't think we've had somebody from Prague on here. Okay, here we go. God was bored. I found I had tinnitus via YouTube video in 2006. Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't think it was me. I thought it was coming from outside. Like I literally thought it was in the walls of my apartment. I thought it was some sort of electrical, like buzz that I was picking up on, but oh my gosh, and yes, so far, knock on wood, it's not been super bad and it doesn't keep me from sleeping or anything like that, but yeah, yeah. So anyway, boy, people are still talking about music. Music is I if I hadn't shared this with you before, which I doubt I have, most of you are fairly new viewers. I never thought I'll share this with you because it's funny to me. Okay. I did not grow up with music. My dad loved to listen to music, and my dad must have had some sort of gift as a musician, but he never really pursued it because he could play the piano like just by ear. Like he didn't have to. I heard him play the piano a couple times, and he didn't even have to look at music, and he could just figure a song out. Like he'd say, "Oh, try this," and he would just do it. So he did study piano when he was young. Well, we wanted a piano when I was growing up, but my dad was in the army. We were moving around. And back then you had to actually buy, a piano, not like a keyboard like you could do today. And so he basically, we never got a piano. I never got piano lessons. And right around the time he died, I actually started playing guitar. I think it started before he died because he was over in South Korea when he died. And I think my mother had sent me for guitar lessons when I was 10. And I actually learned to read music, which I have now forgotten long ago. But I did start playing guitar. And of course, then my father died. And then I didn't really do anything with it for about, I got to have some water. Hang on. I didn't really do anything with it for about a year. And then I started playing guitar again. Well, I used to sing. I did folk music. I actually had a classical Yamaha guitar, and I played folk music mainly. And so my mother sent me for a while. It was such a cliche. She sent me to have lessons with the singing nun at a convent. And I still remember the place. And it was like a nun with a full habit on, and this was in the mid 60s, 66, 67, something like that, when that show, The Singing Nun or The Flying Nun, or I don't know what the heck it was. But anyway, I went and had lessons. And the thing that put me off playing and singing was that one day my mom came to pick me up what would happen is my mom would drop me off. I would have a lesson at the convent in the little sitting room. My mom would go for coffee somewhere, and then she would come back to get me. And when she came back to get me this one day, she asked the nun, and I have no idea what her name was. I call her Sister Mary Lamb Chop, but I don't know what her name was. She asked her how I was doing, and Sister Mary Lamb Chop said, "Oh, Allison has a really unusual voice." And at that point, I cringed inside. I must have been about 12 maybe at the time. And we get in the car, and my mom goes, "Oh, I think, she liked your singing and playing." And I go, "She hated it." And I just was I actually thought the nun had just given like this backhanded whatever, like criticism of me, that I had an unusual, voice. And so I love how you guys are all doing music stuff over here now. So anyway, the thing is, it really took the wind out of my sails. I just thought see, my mother was a person that was tone deaf. My mother couldn't sing. She couldn't hear like music like the way it really was. Like she couldn't hear it properly. I mean, she could hear, but she was tone deaf. So my mother didn't know if I could sing or not. And the only person I really was singing around was my mom. And so when I heard that nun say that, I thought, "Oh my gosh, I can't sing." So even though I continued to play music on my guitar, I often didn't play in front of people or whatever. The one time I sang was in high school. I was involved in theater, and I used to do plays. And I actually tried out for a musical, which was You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, when I was a senior in high school. And I remember I had not been singing in front of people, but I practiced, and I sang a song from a musical, like a cappella. And after I did it, everyone came up to me afterwards and they go, "We didn't know you could sing." And I go, "Well, I'm not really sure I can." They go, "No, you sounded great." But I didn't believe them. And I didn't get the part. And I assumed it was because I really didn't sing well, but actually it was because, I know this sounds weird, but I was too tall. I'm 5'3", but I was too tall because everyone in the play was like really short, even shorter than I. But I didn't believe that. I thought it was because I couldn't sing. So for all my life, I never really sang in front of people. I mean, I would sing to myself. And of course, because I wasn't singing regularly, if those of you who are singers, you know this, that if you don't sing regularly, what happens is your pitch is off. You're pitchy, right? And so then it makes you feel like you really can't sing. Now, my boyfriend that I had, my last real boyfriend that I had in the 90s, we were together like 13 years. He used to love it when I would sing in the car. We'd be driving, riding along, and we'd just sing something. And he'd go, "Oh, sing something else. I really love your singing." And I just thought he was being nice. Like I didn't really believe him. Well, anyway, fast forward to 4 years ago. I started when right before the pandemic hit, actually. I was going and watching this group play bluegrass music on like mostly guitars. And I thought, I really want to play guitar again. So I got a guitar and I relearned guitar, which didn't take that long actually, because I guess I kind of remembered stuff. And so I just had to kind of build up my muscle memory and get my calluses and stuff like that. Anyway, I started singing in front of people and people started saying, "You have a really lovely voice." And I went, "Are you joking?" And they were like, "No, really like your voice." I have kind of a folk singing kind of voice. Anyway, so my point is, I denied myself all these years of playing and enjoying that because I was so self-conscious, because I thought I was so bad, and I really wasn't bad. So, I don't know if that's an object lesson for anybody, but it really, you know what? Now I can't stop. Like now I did an open mic at a bar about a month ago. Like I just do it now. I don't care I know I'm not a great singer, but I'm a perfectly competent singer. Oh, here we go. Guitar singing, and you have your own one gal band right there. That's right. That's right. And I'm sticking to it. So anyway, no, we're not going to see me on America's Got Talent, Barb. But the point is, now it's a passion for me. I don't need to play in front of other people. In fact, most of the time I don't. But now, at least because I enjoy it and I enjoy listening to my own voice as I'm playing guitar, then it's wonderful. And I just wish that I had recognized that like years before that. Not that I would have been famous or anything, but just it would have been nice to not be afraid to I didn't really want to play in front of people or sing in front of people mainly. Anyway, so anyway, if any of you out there thought you couldn't sing, but maybe you can, just no, Sylvia, I kind of agree with you. When Taylor Swift, okay, if any of you are Swifties, believe me, I'm a Swiftie fan. So don't crucify me for this. But when she first started out in particular, she had some problems with her voice. I actually remember watching her maybe in the first few years. She kind of had her initial success. And if she was singing live, she actually would get off key. Now I must have inherited my dad's musical ability in some way, because I'm very attuned to somebody being off key. Like if you're off key just a bit, I can hear it. So I think I have a good kind of, in fact, my musician friends tell me that they know, I'll catch it immediately, even if somebody's playing, it's not the right key. So anyway, she had that problem initially, but I think she's had a lot of instruction or whatever. She's a lot better now. And, but she doesn't have an incredible voice. She has a good voice, but she's an incredible songwriter and she's an incredible performer. So I will say that. Anyway, yes. And I do love Taylor Swift. Believe me, I'm a big fan. But yeah, you don't have to have the world's greatest voice to be a great musician or a great, performer. You really don't. Yeah, Sylvia, her songwriting is astounding. I love her songwriting. And she's so prolific. Anyway. Anyways, we did a lot of music here today. Yeah. So anyway, I want to share that with you because it's like it astounds me that I basically didn't know until I was 65 years old that I could sing. You shouldn't have to wait that long. I guess that's what happens when you're as a child, you think you can't do something. And then no one really tells you, because my mother was tone deaf. It wasn't really her fault, but she couldn't say to me, "Oh, I really love, how you sing," because she couldn't hear it right. And she was not a big fan of music for the most part because she didn't really appreciate someone singing or even playing or whatever because she had no musical ability at all. So yeah, let's see. Okay, I don't know that I'm up for doing that on a live chat, but thank you, Pat. Oh no, Barb said it. Oh, Pat, nuns taught you to sing and you never stopped. Yeah, actually, nuns have been really involved in singing and actually giving lessons and stuff for a long time. Like I said, I went to see this nun, and I'm sure she meant what she said and she didn't mean it as a diss, but I took it as a diss. Flora Lee, greetings from Denmark. Welcome in. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Louis. Yes, Amy Winehouse, incredible voice. She had an incredible voice. And they have that new movie out about her, I guess. Yeah. Um, yeah, Amy, I would encourage your daughter. And again, don't don't say, well, okay. I don't know. If somebody really can't sing, I don't know if you're doing them a big favor by telling them they can. You know what I mean? So there's that. So I think you have to kind of assess if somebody really does have some ability and then encourage it. But if someone doesn't, I don't know. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. New me. You're Love Brit, right? I know you're fooling me today. Anyway, they used to laugh at your singing because they were all singers and dance. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you grow up in a family where people are really exceptional at something and you're not as exceptional as they are, you could still be good, but you're not up to their level. Like, me, I would never think to be a professional singer. I'm not, I don't have that. But the thing is, you can have a good voice. One day we were playing at the park a couple of years ago in the summer, and one of the police officers that work in our town came by, and he had just stopped to take a break or whatever, and he heard us over there, and he walked over, and I was singing a song, and after I was done, he goes, "You have such an amazingly soothing voice." Like he was just so, like he said, "You just have a lovely voice." And that meant a lot. When a complete stranger says something like that and you just go. But also, I had to practice a lot. When I first started singing again at 4 years ago, I realized the more I sang, then I wasn't pitchy anymore. See, I had been pitchy during my life because I wasn't really singing much. It's like anything. You have to practice and use your voice to get better. And I didn't know that either. So anyway. Yes. Oh, Cynthia, Linda Ronstadt, absolutely one of the best female singers ever. I mean, I think Linda Ronstadt was incredible, and it's so sad what happened to her that she lost her voice because of this illness, this disease she has. Because that really must affect her emotionally. I saw an interview with her where she said she could still hear the music in her head, and she couldn't transfer it to her vocal cords, of course, because she can't make those sounds anymore. So anyway. Anyway, interesting chat today. Anybody else have any other questions or comments or things they want me to bring up? We have about maybe 10 more minutes to go in the chat. So Pat M, Eagles fan. Yes. I always, their song Take It Easy from the 70s. Oh, I was one of those people that would get a 45 and I would play it to death. Like just, I would play things over and over and over again. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, and Julie Andrews, of course, a fabulous singer. And she can still sing, but she can't sing the high notes anymore. She can only kind of sing in a lower register now, but oh, wait. Okay. So Westbound's asking a question that's non-music related here. I said, I'd like to learn about how one can support themselves without coming from privileged background, what the Social Security system is like when one needs it. You mean in the United States, Westbound? Don't, yeah. Social Security, man, worried about the future of it. I just say that. Very worried about the future of it. Even for me, someone who's already on it, worried about the future of it. So the reasons I have a YouTube channel now that may have to be, someday it may have to be my sole support. I hope not, but it's possible. So I don't know. I think other countries do like a Social Security system much better than we do, honestly. Well, Amy, I do. That's why I do have the other channel for that. I don't really do that a lot on here, but yeah, I will be. If you're on watching my other channel, you can certainly see more spiritually related kind of topics. Yeah, that's right, Westbound. We don't have the best system at all, and I really have a beef with Medicare. That's probably my biggest beef is with Medicare. Because when Medicare was started in the 60s, mid 60s, the idea was that when you were retired and a senior at 65, that you basically got your medical provided to you. And you didn't have to really pay anything. Initially, there was no payment. Now they charge you for a Part B premium that just goes up and up each year. It's crazy. It's almost $180 a month for people that have to pay that. And that's for just going to the doctor and whatever. And then there's the prescription drug thing they add in. And then you have to get a supplemental to pay for the 20% that Medicare. I mean, excuse me, it's BS is what I'm saying. If you're going to provide medical, then provide medical. And, other countries that have medical care for their citizens, they don't nickel and dime them like this. They don't say, oh, you get this, but then we charge you a copay and a deductible and this kind of stuff. So, yeah, don't even get me started. Don't get me started on that. So, yes, actually, I have NH Libra. That's what if you watch my video on the live stream, I talk about this. But my goal sometime next year, hopefully, I'll be living over in Europe somewhere. So I've been doing a lot of research about it, about where to go and stuff. But you have to, normally there's a waiting period to get on most countries' healthcare, and then you do have to pay something, which is fine, but it's a set amount. Like let's say you paid $200, but you now there's no deductible, no copays, no anything. You do get your medical. Yeah, that's true. Portugal is interesting that you mentioned that. Portugal, they have a very low income requirement to move there. So I would already qualify even just on my Social Security. The problem is the rents are so high in Portugal now because of all people moving there from the US and other places in the world. Now it's driven up the rents, and now you can't get a decent apartment for less than 900, 1,000 a month in Portugal. And it used to be much lower. So yeah, I can't go to some place where I'm paying $1,000 a month in a rent. So Yeah. Yes, Lisbon, Cynthia. Yeah, that's what I mean. Super high in Lisbon. Lisbon, you're paying more like for a one bedroom, 1,200 or more a month. Yeah, I looked into it and I thought, nah, not be moving there. Spain, if you're not living in Madrid or Barcelona or the major cities in Spain, rent is much more affordable. But to get a long-term visa in Spain for an American, you have to have a higher income than I do right now. Now, eventually, I might be able to meet that threshold, but you have to actually have a higher income to qualify. But rents are much lower in many parts of Spain. Yeah, I've done a lot of. I'm always doing research about this. I mean, I know the countries that have really low rent, but some of them it actually is harder to get a long-term visa, except for one country which will allow an American citizen. I know this has turned into Travel Channel all of a sudden. One country in Europe, which is Albania. Oh, wait. Sandy says Zoom meetings are on the Zoom channel. Yeah, I'm still looking into that, Sandy. I'm not going to probably say anything till I know for sure what I'm going to do yet. So, but thank you for asking. Yeah, actually, so I was going to, one country in Europe has very low rents, and it used to be a former Eastern European, but it's Albania. In Albania, you can live there as an American citizen for a year without a visa. You just basically, with your passport, they check you in and you have a year to stay there. And the rents in most places are about 300 to 500 a month, $300 to $500 a month. So very reasonable. The language in Albania is challenging to learn, I've understood though. So, but it is a beautiful place and it has a lot of coastal area on the Adriatic. So anyway. Yes, that's right, Cynthia. Yeah, you've done your research too. Yeah, I've been watching videos about what it's like there. So I don't know. I'm going to have several you know how they say you have a plan B and a plan C, plan D. Yeah, when I do this, it will definitely be about a 5-part plan because I'll have to make adjustments as time goes. Yes, I know Croatia. We had a guy in here last time from Croatia. Don't think he's in there today. Um, yes, imagine peace. I understand what you're saying. Oh, you're in Croatia, Westbound Music? Are you just saying that? Okay. Minnie going to Mexico. No, yeah. And, believe it or not, to get an actual, I think an American can live up to, I don't know, because I haven't really researched Mexico that much because I knew I didn't really want to live there. I think that you can live up to 6 months. Maybe it's only 3 though, with just like your passport to live in Mexico as an American. But to get away from to actually stay there as long term, they have a higher income limit now, which is interesting. Oh, are you in Uruguay, NH Libra? Yes, I've heard that. I've really heard good things about Uruguay, actually. Um, so that is one place I have looked at for potential in the future. Anyway, we'll be talking about this more. Any other questions you have? We'll go a few more minutes if anybody else has a question on something else or whatever. Oh, Westbound, your neighbor went to Croatia. Yeah, I want to visit Croatia. I think that has also gone up a little more in cost than it used to be. So anyway. Oh, you lived across the street from a family from Uruguay. Okay. Yeah. Sing, sing, sing. No, not singing today. Uh, but anyway, so I guess let me just like kind of close this up today by just saying that uh, Albanians are coming from across the channel to England. Okay. Anyway, let me just say again to what my point of this live stream was today is enjoy the small things in life, live with passion, really enjoy the little things about the world. Just to me, as I get older, I'm just happy to wake up in the morning. I am. I wake up and I go, it's great. It's great. I'm alive. So yeah, I really encourage you to just enjoy the small things as much as possible. I know some of you need more stimulation than that. I understand. I know everybody's got different things that are going on in their system, both from a biological point of view, an emotional point of view, whatever, and they may not be able to do that. But I do think the more you can cultivate that, the more you enjoy things, even when negative things happen. So yeah, please don't call somebody something bad here in the chat. Please don't do that. Anyway, come to Prague. Yeah, well, I actually do want to go to Prague. I've heard wonderful things. I'd love to see the city. I've heard it's just beautiful. Anyway, yes, Diane. Yes, and Diane says it well. Try to be happy right where you are here and now. Absolutely. Exactly. New me. George Burns said, if I don't see my name in the obituaries, I know it'll be a good day. That's right. I don't think I ever valued it as much as I do now. The fact that, when you're young, you think, oh, I've got so much time to live and, whatever. And it'll be fine. And, I think here's to me, one of the best things about getting old. I really believe this is a lot of the stuff you worried about when you're young, you don't have to worry about anymore. You just don't. I had somebody say to me the other day, not somebody online, but somebody say to me the other day, they said, well, what if you go live overseas and you die there? I go, okay, what's your point? Like, I'm going to die somewhere. Does it really matter? if I die in Austria or France or England, does it really matter where I die? No, I don't think so. In fact, I'd probably rather die somewhere where at least I'm enjoying something up until the point I died. Of course, if I stayed here, I would enjoy things too. So, but my point is, I can't worry about that. I'm going to die somewhere. We all are at some point. So, anyway. Well, thank you all for joining in on the live stream today. It has been, I tried to keep up. It's kind of hard to keep up with the chat because so many people are commenting. So I saw somebody's comment talked about loneliness up there. Yes, I am going to be talking about, I'll probably do a video on loneliness and isolation and stuff because it is a real issue, especially, and not just for older people. A lot of people are lonely. I get a lot, you wouldn't believe the comments I get on my videos that people are sharing their experience. And it just breaks my heart. It really does, because people, however bad any of you think you've had it, trust me, there's always somebody that's gone through worse. There's always someone who's gone through something worse. And the thing is, I'm not going to, I can't, there's nothing I can say that's going to make that better for them, except to just say, I understand. I understand it's hard. That's about all I can say sometimes to people. So anyway, yes, thank you, Cynthia. Thank all of you for joining in on the live chat. I love it. I love doing these on Saturday, and I'll look forward to seeing you. Oh, hit that like button before you forget. Oh, there it is back on the wall. Hit that like button before we sign off. That makes my day right there. And yes, thank you all. And it's so lovely that you guys join in from all over the world. And, we're all connected. We're all connected in some way. We really are. And just the energy involved in being on here and, me chatting with you and you guys sharing stuff there, that's a connection. And it's important. it's important. We don't, back in the day, you couldn't connect with people from all over the world this easily. It's amazing. It's actually, to me, it's one of the best things about the internet. So, anyway, thank you all. We'll see you next Saturday, same time. And make sure you hit that like button. And if you need it, if you want me to cover a particular comment in a video or something, leave it in the actual comments below this, and I will be able to read them after. So, all right. Thank you all and take care. Have a lovely weekend and a good week ahead. And remember, enjoy the little things.